My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Aries. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing your general reading, your past, present, future, your 9-card spread. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw a vampire oracle, and finish off with 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started with your reading. Okay, the general card is Two of Pentacles reversed. Let's look at the first row, which is also your past. You start off with Two of Wands, fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Interesting. Judgment upright, Scorpio energy. And then you get a beautiful Leonine card of the Queen of Wands. And maybe this took place maybe before Virgo season because of how, or even towards the end, probably up until like August 22nd for that matter. But you know what I saw? Is you embarked on this journey in the past. You headed down towards this voyage, this quest, this journey, where have you and stuff like that. Because, it pretty much just showed that you had so much confidence within you. And of course, I would never ever underestimate or judge any person, even if you are or aren't an Aries for that matter, but I would never ever doubt the capabilities or qualities of an Aries. But here it's pretty much just embarking on this journey. It's literally heading out into this world. It's like thinking, okay, we know exactly what's going on. We know exactly where we're heading off towards and stuff like that. Because especially with Judgment upright, having a good sense of clarity to know which direction you're heading towards and stuff like that. And then that more or less also amplifies your sense of confidence and strength. And this is a really beautiful combination for that matter, because the thing is it's like, it's it's important for any kind of planning for that matter to know exactly which direction you're heading off towards, to know how it's going to go about, so you can pretty much be prepared for any unforeseen circumstances. But it's also in the sense of knowing, okay, it's like, we know exactly, what test we're studying for. We know exactly which voyage. We know exactly what, job we're heading towards. Because if you know exactly which direction you're heading off towards, and then you have this, great sense of being prepared and stuff like that. And if you even want to watch one of my videos about the second new moon in Virgo for that matter, that more or less also accentuates, sense of actually getting into a routine, and how that more or less is very important and beneficial for goals and stuff like that in the next coming year phase, right? But anyway, let's look at current times. You start off with Seven of Swords reversed. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Here you are, Emperor, the center of the entire read, Aries. And here you are actually maybe facing maybe some potential conflict, or at least some kind of competition for that matter. Right. Well, this is actually you actually being a really stable, grounded, and saying, okay, everything is just working out in our favor for that matter. Because the Seven of Swords, normally upright, it's like either dealing with a deceptive individual, or pretty much just thinking, okay, it's like, I have everything, in my own grasp, I'm just going to take off and stuff like that. It's like having a really good plan for that matter. But since it came in reverse, it's kind of like dealing with an honest offering as well. It's pretty much like coming to terms with something. It's definitely, just a real beautiful, positive. Yeah, it's actually, what I'm kind of getting, especially with the Emperor afterwards. It's pretty much actually, letting yourself know who you are. And this is pretty much coming to terms with your own personal self, in the sense of thinking, I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of doing. And here you are pretty much just preparing yourself for this upcoming competition. I mean, not per se conflict, but I would think it's more or less like some kind of practice session of some kind. But we'll have to look at the future, and then of course the verification for that matter. Nine of Cups, fulfillment. Then with the Chariot reverse, Cancer energy, and then you get Four of Pentacles. Okay, well, the thing is, it's like there's not always going to be a guarantee what the end result is ever going to be in any way regarding any kind of conflict or competition for that matter. And I need to kind of adjust this light a little bit, because what I kind of see here is, it's like, you could be winning some upcoming, competition. Maybe you're auditioning for something. Maybe you're actually trying out for something. And here you are going to be in a really beautiful, fulfilled position. But however, you do end up feeling kind of stuck and directionless afterwards. But yet here you are still kind of keeping balanced and calm. And you're actually going to be in a really, how can I phrase this in modern times for that matter? You're going to be in a comfortable setting. So I think, there's going to be some big changes coming up for you. But of course, it's like, Yeah, facing the unknown, facing the future. A lot of humans, they tend to kind of just think, oh goodness, how is this actually going to work out for me? Well, the thing is we have no say in any kind of future. Just because these cards, will show up doesn't mean it's going to be, guaranteed. Sometimes it could just be our personal subconscious of thinking everything's going to work out. But it could also be like thinking, okay, it's like, let's try to, we'll make the best of any kind of situation and let's hope for the best. And that's why you probably try to feel, a sense of fulfillment and stuff like that, even though you might still feel somewhat directionless and lost and stuck. But here you are just also saying it's going to be okay either way. Because, for clarification, Two of Wands, you get Queen of Swords, an act of planning something. And this is a really good combination because when you're going out on any kind of voyage or quest or journey, is you need to have a really good plan. You need to have everything prepared. You need to have everything just organized to the core, to the point where you just think everything is going to work out this time, and always have backup supplies. And that's what even the Queen of Swords is even, talking about, is just saying, okay, we have a certain direction. We know how we're going to go about it and stuff like that. And so that mostly just kind of says, okay, we're ready for this, journey, coming up. So, with a sense of clarity, with Judgment, you get 10 of Pentacles. So here you are, either in happy home, happy earth, happy family, or confidence, or both, or anything, that, well, you pretty much just think, yes, we have a lot of confidence in our lives, which is very crucial for anything. For a sense of guarantee and certainty. But of course, when you're going out on any kind of voyage, for that matter, there's not always going to be a sense of certainty for anybody in any way, right? Anything could always happen. Even my upcoming, Halloween or All Hallows Eve performance, anything could always go wrong, right? It's like lately I've been kind of feeling a bit worried about it, but it's actually, the human is also saying, don't worry, everything is just going to turn out all right and stuff like that. But either way, for you, it just, just shows, you have so much to offer. You pretty much just have so much behind you and stuff like that. But now we get to Queen of Swords. You have confidence, and then you get hit with Three of Swords of heartbreak. Okay, well, what could cause a potential heartbreak? I wonder if it's kind of like feeling a bit somewhat overwhelmed with the Two of Pentacles. Because the thing is, it's like with any kind of like planning, like if you're about to head off towards like some kind of audition, or you're about to take an exam or a test, or you're gonna have to prove your skills or qualities or strengths, for that matter. Here you are, confident, but yet the Three of Swords could somehow either be that you get hit with an unforeseen circumstance and it puts you in a real heartbreak situation, but it could also show to say, okay, I'm confident, but yet you're kind of also talking yourself out of something because you feel also overwhelmed with the Two of Pentacles as a general thought of today's reading. Well, the thing is, sometimes, our thoughts, doesn't always benefit us in so many ways and stuff like that. And if you just think, oh goodness, it's like, it's probably never going to be benefiting me. Well, the thing is, we're not quite there yet. And maybe you've already, suffered, or struggled. Let's put it in the sense of struggling regarding, any kind of heartbreak in the past. Hopefully, you are, coming off as the Emperor in current times. But anyway, we'll have to first look at Seven of Swords reversed. Ah, Emperor. Yes. What I'm kind of getting here is a rebirthing. This is where you're pretty much actually thinking, yep, I'm actually coming to terms with who I am. And this could actually even be seen as like, tears of joys, or no, tears of joy, my goodness, sometimes I just can't talk. But tears of joy in the sense where you're actually coming to terms with who you are. And sometimes that takes so much time and energy and so many, tears to shed to even just think, wow, I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of doing. Because even, I'm kind of getting, my own personal reading here for the All Hallows Eve, performance coming up, and I'm just thinking, oh goodness, well, what if this and that goes wrong? I have my own personal panics, and especially, with the castle, that's still on my mind and stuff like that. I'm just thinking, goodness, is that ever going to be okay? But here you are finally coming to terms, and this is really important to actually prove to yourself, and look at yourself in the mirror, and it's like how that one, a cartoon or Disney, whatever, Lion King is to actually, remind yourself of who you are and stuff like that. Of course, you don't have to be, a king or a lion or anything for that matter, to actually prove to yourself who you are. But this is you finally thinking, I know what I'm capable of doing. And sometimes, our own personal inner voices, our own thoughts and stuff like that can actually get the best of us in a negative manner where you just think, who am I and how can I even just, prove myself in this situation, right? Well, here, the second emperor, or actually, this is the second emperor for that matter, but you get another emperor with the daughter of scepters, also known as the Page of Wands. And this is fabulous, because here's the thing, you already got the Two of Wands in the past, you get the Page of Wands in current times. I just see so much healing, overcoming your own self-doubts and lack of faith and clarity for that matter, because here you are as the emperor heading down this path and voyage and just thinking, I know what I'm capable of doing, I know what's going to happen, everything is going to work out in my favor. And a lot of times, when you're about to audition for something, when you're about to prepare for anything and stuff like that, that always, puts a lot of stress and anxiety in anyone's lives for that matter, And so, on one aspect, you're never alone, but of course it's easier said than done, because if you're alone in your own home, your own bedroom, wherever it may be, your slumbering chambers, the thing is of course, you just think, well, now I'm alone. I don't have anybody to lean on towards. I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't have anybody, but fair enough. But just be rest assured is that, it's like you're not the only one who could be suffering. There could be somebody across oceans and stuff like that are going to be, in a situation as yourself. They're also just thinking, oh goodness, I just don't know if I can handle this. Well, here you are with the Five of Wands, maybe facing a competitive moment, and you get the second Four of Pentacles of actually having a sense of comfort and reassurance. And that's actually really good, combination to have, because even giving yourself metaphorical pep talks and actually, telling yourself it's all going to be okay, that's really a wonderful trait to even have for that matter, because the thing is, like I've even mentioned in a lot of my previous videos, is the only person who's always going to be there for you is sadly you and you alone. I'm not saying that, that's the, that's it, it's like, hopefully you have your pets, your fledglings, your beautiful spouse, companion, partner, whoever you're currently with, but the most important person who's always going to be, there for you is you, and this is actually you saying everything's just going to work out, and we tried our best and stuff like that, and should anything, any unforeseen circumstance will take place in other ways, and just always, let yourself know it was never your fault in the first place. And that's even what I tell myself about the upcoming, performance coming up, is that, should something not work out, okay, well, sad but true, I did the best I could, but then sadly, all of these unforeseen circumstances happen, and just for that, unknown reason, right? So, Nine of Cups, you have a sense of fulfillment, and you get the second Judgment, more Scorpio energy. I mean, this could even be taking place around the All Hallows Eve season, starting October 21st. But just remember that that's actually going to be the date of the Libra, new moon as well. So just, we'll keep that. Just keep that in mind in other ways as well. I mean, of course, it's your opposite sign. But here, it's pretty much just thinking, okay, it's like, you could actually be achieving this wonderful sense of fulfillment, because, there's a sense of clarity. If when, your head is out of the clouds, everything is now, there's going to be a grand announcement taking place of whatever it may be. And I just think, okay, sometimes it's really good just to kind of always, keep yourself grounded and realistic, just like how the second new moon in Virgo even is about just kind of keeping yourself balanced, calm, and relaxed on so many levels, So, I do see a beautiful outcome so far in the future. So, and then you get hit with Chariot reverse, maybe feeling stumped, maybe there is a potential setback on its way, or maybe feeling kind of stuck and directionless in other ways, but yet you get the Nine of Wands, feeling exhausted beyond belief, but you're just not giving up, and nor should you, because whatever worth having doesn't always come easy, and sometimes with all of these situations, any unforeseen circumstance that could happen and take place, always remember and remind yourself it's never your fault in any way. Sometimes, like you can pretty much, deal with people, that give out, yet false information or, incorrect answers and stuff like that, but it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you for that matter. Absolutely not. So here it's pretty much just thinking, okay, there's a sense of clarity, there's a big, announcement on its way, but yet you feel kind of stuck, and I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to get out of the situation? But then, you get hit with the Four of Pentacles of some sense of, groundedness, of actually comfort, and then you get the Five of Cups. Potential disappointment and disparity, but the thing is on a positive note about the Five of Cups is you still have two chalices, you know, even though you pretty much just think, well, maybe there was a big sacrifice on its way, maybe there was an unforeseen circumstance. I mean, I'm kind of worried about this combination myself, where it's like, oh my goodness, you know, it's like everything, you know, like half of the performance and stuff like that worked out fine and stuff like that, and then the other thing is just, you know, something just didn't work out and stuff like that, whatever, it's a, well, the thing is I know exactly how you're feeling, because I even still kind of feel even overwhelmed and just thinking, oh goodness, is everything going to work out in my favor, even for being an Aries myself. But what I even, you know, tell myself, and what I'm even going to be guiding you guys with, is that, okay, you know, if there's some unforeseen circumstance, any kind of setback, anything that you pretty much just think, how, you know, well, could I have not seen that coming? The thing is it's an A, never your fault, but B, you know, it's like you still have two chalices that are still upright. So obviously something is not going to be perfect, but it's still going to be working, you know, out in a positive manner in your favor, because, you know, something is still going to work out in any way for you, whatever it may be and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's kind of the best, you know, like, you know, antidote that I can provide for thee, and even for myself at the moment. And maybe if we get a similar situation or another reading like this in about a week again, you know, I'll probably be able to actually offer a bit more guidance for that matter. But I just want you guys to know that, well, you're still going to have, you know, something working out in your favor either way. Because special vampire card, Nine of Wands. Okay. Exhausted beyond belief, but you're not giving up. So it's the second Nine of Wands where you just think, goodness, this is the last thing I feel like having to be dealing with. Having to be, you know, doing practice sessions, rehearsals, having to get everything organized. I just don't have, you know, faith within myself, because speaking of the Oracle, it says have faith. Goodness. So anyway, it says, you know, trust, unwavering, and confidence. So the thing is, you know, is either A, we're always going to be our worst critics either way, you know. It's like whenever we perform something, whenever we do something, whenever we, you know, it's always going to be like thinking, nope, that was actually really bad, even though other people think, wow, this was actually pretty good. Well, that person's got many, you know, good skills and traits and stuff like that. Sad but true, you know. It's like it's probably, you know, how we are mostly, you know, raised, and how, you know, this world more or less, you know, sort of shapes us in the point where, you know, you do something and then you just think, that was the worst thing ever, I'm never doing this again. Well, here's your beautiful inner voice, or your conscience, or even your beautiful spouse, companion, fledglings out there that they will more or less just say, keep the faith, have trust and confidence, and just, you know, don't give up. So I'm going to finish up with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause this video and think about the questions you want. So, but anyway, for answer number 1, you get a no with the 8 of Pentacles reversed. For number 2, you get a yes with the Knight of Cups upright. And you get another no with the Moon reversed. Okay, so you get 1 yes and 2 no's in today's reading. My beautiful Aries, I'm going to have to leave it at this for now. But if this reading resonated for anybody, I know it sort of resonated with me. But even then, you know, please feel free to join and subscribe if you want more vampire knowledge, more historical facts. I'm going to be doing more Dracula, you know, stories and facts in the upcoming readings as well. So please feel free to stay tuned for that, and of course for the upcoming All Hallows Eve performance. But other than that, in a few days I'm going back to love reading, so for now I'm just doing general and love. If anybody is interested in a personal reading, please let me know in the comments section below. Please feel free to even browse this web link on my YouTube channel, you know, with the different types of prices. But other than that, I love you guys incredibly. Thank you so much for joining me today, and best of luck on this beautiful journey.